So Goenitz in SVC Chaos is one of the few times you can actually play this character in a tournament legal sense, which is pretty cool. But compared to like his KOF 15 iteration, he's a lot more bare bones in this game. But solid pick overall, not a bad character. He sits about like upper mid, lower high tier because of his lack of overall sauce. He's kind of just the zoning guy in this game, and when being not played by an AI, he's a lot more beatable. As you'll notice, not a lot of people play him on Fightcade and overall just in tournament play. But let me show you how to play him. So let's start with his normals. So you have like his lights. The one problem with his lights is that they don't really combo to much of anything except for like themselves. You can't cancel them into like any sort of special. I mean, or can't combo them. You can cancel them, but they won't do anything. So keep that in mind when you're playing him. That a lot of his like normals are very good for like pokes. Like they're very solid. Like his D normals are very good. His C normals are very nice. But overall, just be very careful of the lights. They can't really give you much of anything. So in terms of heavies, though, they're quite nice. Like close C is a phenomenal combo starter, and far D is a great anti-air tool. Sweep is nice as well, has a decent amount of range, knocks down. And when it comes to like jumping normals, Jump D is basically the only one you're going to be using. It just does everything. Jump B has some like cross-up potential, so that's nice. You can like hit people behind them. Like that. So that's pretty handy. And his throws, forward throw has a weird bug where you can tech it very late into the animation. Like halfway through that throw, you can actually like tech out of it. It looks very weird. I've seen it before though. So opt for back throw. It does about the same damage, and overall just doesn't have this problem because the damage starts weird. I think that's probably has something to do with like the damage activating on the move, where like once the damage kicks in, you can't tech it anymore. So that whole like long throw animation, you could probably tech the entirety of for some reason. Some characters have this problem, but Goenitz is one of the biggest defenders where you'll forward throw people sometimes and they'll just tech like literally mid throw animation. It's very weird looking. I don't think this card has any command normals, so let's move on to specials. So you have the infamous Kokodeska, this big old tornado. These are very good for zoning and anti-airs. As you can see, you can just do this one. People will just make this giant wall in front of you. It doesn't, as you can see, because the hitbox does not go the actual entire screen height. It just goes to about where the life bars are, which isn't bad. But sometimes you'll see certain characters like wall jump off the corner here and get out of it. So that's not a bug, that's a feature. Keep that in mind. He also has this Rekka, which is very nice for his very small combo game, but he does, you know, have that for that, which is nice. On block, you can do some gimmicky stuff with like, if they block this, you can go into super, which I'll show off right now. So you can make Ryu block. Now this is like gimmicky. Obviously, if you front step this isn't a problem. But if they're like asleep at the wheel, you can do stuff like this. Stuff like that. And we'll get the supers in a second. I'm trying to go in order here and try to keep everything nice and ordered. So let's get Ryu out of blocking now. But for some reason in this game they actually put the character in full block animation, which is very interesting. But I learned that this port uses the actual AES training mode. They didn't make a unique one for this port. It's just the one they had from like 2003, which is why it's a bit dated, but we make it work. So now on to supers. He has obviously he has three. Some characters only have two or one, but he has this one. Oh, before we get to supers, I didn't forget, I swear. He has teleport. These are pretty good get out of jail free cards, but if you know which one, they go like the same arc. They both go about here. So if you know when he's going to teleport, just wait at that area and you can punish him for it. And as you probably saw me doing earlier, he has this Flick Super, or Flick Special. It's not very good. It's kind of the reason I kind of forgot to completely talk about it. It's not very useful. It has some niche uses, but Tornado basically does everything it does, except for like maybe chip out scenarios, but Rekka also does that. So it's not really important. Hence why I basically forgot about it. But supers. Double 04 double punches is his like Rambo. It can go under a few projectiles, but not a lot. It doesn't have like any like sort of like projectile like disjoint thing like Shiki's or Ryo's, where it actually is just like, it just lowers his body a little bit, so you can't really just go through projectiles like you can with, say, other characters. I should probably put my meter on infinite so I can actually show off the other super. But that is the general consistency with that super. It's his main way of getting damage from like specials or normals. It's not, you know, this move here, close D, you can you can cancel into that, but it's so slow. That's not really something you're going to see very often. But let's get on to his command grab super, which is one of his better ones. Looks pretty cool. This is iconic super from KOF 96. I mean, all of these are. They kind of just borrowed them straight from that game. You can combo into it, but it's pretty tricky. You can also use it to bait front step because it's a grab, so you can like do like stuff like, I don't know if I can show this off. But get the general idea is you can do double half circle back, punch, and if they, you know, front step from your normal, you cancel it from, you'll grab them right out of it, and they will have no way to get out. But the main super you'll be playing this character for, because these supers are great, they're fine, but like you're not really using them that much. Like, Goenitz wants to be far away from you. He's not really going to be using a lot of this. This super's not really that handy, and this super is pretty good, but other than having some like Terry Buster Wolf-esque shenanigans where you just do it into itself on block if the player doesn't know how to stop it, it's not really something you're going to be using that much. The main super, which you only get once per game, which is to succeed, is just this absolute monster of a super. It does, you know, exceed levels of damage, which is about more than half, and it's fully invincible. And you have two versions. So that was the mid version. It goes like at a straightforward angle. And then you also have an overhead version, which you can cross up with, and is of course an overhead. But it has a dead zone. I believe you do it like here. I don't know. I've seen it whiff on certain characters at weird spacings, so keep that in mind. But this is the super that you'll be using to get a lot of mileage out of this character with. This is the move. It is very good. So that's basically the general idea of all this kit. His combos are very simple, just stuff like button Rekka. You can link his close C into sweep if you're good enough. Like that. The main one that we're going to be talking about next, though, this is like not required because it's like this button is so hard to actually make work. But actually, wait, I'll go back here. Which is doing close D into super. You gotta like buffer it. Oh, let me read block so I make sure I don't drop it. One step block. There we go. Hold on now. Bear with me. There we go. You basically buffer the quarter circle from the... You do like quarter circle forward D, which is nothing. But if you do that, and then you do another quarter circle forward and button hold double punches, it'll usually come out. The problem is that this move is super slow, and you have to be close to it to work. So, overall, you're not really going to be using this move a lot for punish game, but just know that you have this. If you find an opportunity to go for it, pat yourself in the back. It's very good. This is best damage for the most part. But that's the general idea of, like, he's not a very complex character in terms of what, like, other characters. He doesn't have any, like, crazy tech. He doesn't have any, like, crazy combos. He's just kind of just the tornado guy. Which is cool. If you're looking for, like, more of, like, a simple character, this is not a bad pick. But he does have a lot of, like, you have to know when you need to do a tornado, because these can get you hurt pretty bad if a character has good advancing, like, specials. And just overall makes a good read. They can hurt you pretty hard for playing this way. And he also just has a very hard time spending meter. Like, you're mainly going to be using it for guard cancel, blowback, and front step, which is not bad. And, you know, you have exceed once per game, which is like your main way of, like, scoring out rounds. But he has a very, very hard time making comebacks if he's down. Because, like, these tornadoes don't do a lot of damage. And they only do one hit of chip on block. They're very hard to front step, by the way. Like, if you front step this, good job. It's at like it's a very small window to actually guard cancel front step this. So, keep that in mind. But overall, the general like counterplay of this character is just like pick characters that just have teleports or just have advancing specials. So when it comes to like characters like that, I recommend, you know, as I mentioned the Gendro video, I think Gendro does well into this character. I think that Terry does well. I think that Akuma, good pick. Shiki's a good pick into him. Violent Ken. But that's the general consensus of this character. How to pick him, if you're wondering. I know I've talked about this in the Dimitri video, but make sure you go to control. Make sure you have a hidden character button set, hidden player, which for me is left bumper. It should probably be for you too. I run default. And then hover over Ryo, and you'll press it, and you'll get Goenitz, which is cool. I'm not going to go into the whole rant I had last time about, like, oh, which characters are tournament legal, but just know that Goenitz is legal in most tournaments, and you should be able to play him. He's not like a war crime character like some of the banned ones are that are not available in the arcade version. But this is the general idea of this character, is you just, you know, just chuck the tornadoes, use your good, like, heavy normals, and, you know, maybe sneak it at a command grab every now and then. But he's not a very complex character. He's complex in terms of, like, actually winning with him is harder than actually playing him. He's, like, easy to understand, but, like, high execution in terms of, like, game sense. He's very difficult to actually make work because of that. Because you need a lot of patience. A lot of your rounds are going to go to time. And I don't be discouraged from playing to time, which I know some people consider pretty lame, but it is true. This character does not do a lot of damage. And unless you have Exceed or land like a big jump in, you're going to have a very difficult time actually mounting a comeback. It's possible, but that requires the player to be impatient and you to be more patient, which if both players know the matchup, they're just going to not engage with you, and that can be very frustrating. So that's the general idea of what this character is. I got my list here. I talked about game plan. Counterplay is pretty simple. It's just... I should mention real quick, before I end this video, his tornadoes actually kill most super fireballs, so if, like, Ryu does a Shinku Hadouken, or, like, you know, a similar super of that quality from any character, the tornado will actually block it, which is weird. It does this for some moves, and other moves not so much, but in, like, the tournament legal character, like, cast, Goenitz' tornado pretty much beats almost everything in the game, in terms of, like, stopping projectiles. He doesn't really do well in Fireball Wars, though, because his projectile is fairly slow, and it doesn't actually go forward at all. You can use it to, like, stop, like, people from, like, throwing projectiles or just putting it on top of them. But that's the general idea with this character. I know this character's pretty, not very common, so I hope that, like, people can enjoy what I've told them about him. You know, he's cool. I like him a lot. This is probably one of the shorter videos I've done, though, because he just doesn't really have anything really advanced for me to talk about. But he's super cool. He's super sick. Easily, like, in my, like, top 3 characters. Well, definitely top 3. Probably, well, maybe top 5, but you get the point. He's cool. I'll be making a few more of these videos, but that's about it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.